Hi everyone. Today we have a very special guest with us, Francisco. I'm sure you would have seen him somewhere on Twitter or maybe in some conference. So, hi Francisco, welcome to the show. A quick introduction for our audience.
Yes, sure. Thank you so much, Saumya. I'm Francesco, developer advocate at Daily Dev, Docker Captain. I'm very active on social media, especially Twitter and YouTube lately. So let's get started because I really want to make this podcast as long as possible. So let's just jump straight into it. Thank you so much for having me. Huge fan of Saumya, of course.
And the respect is mutual, Francisco. So, I want to understand, first of all, how you got into tech. Like, what made you fall in love with the tech world?
Yes, sure. So I'll try to give a short, quick version because my first, let's say, computer, it was a Commodore 64. Now I'm revealed my age, I'm 40. And I always loved computers, but not much programming because I always thought that programming is boring. Probably I still think that it's a bit boring. My life has been more into sports. I became a volleyball coach when I was 15, and I've done that job for almost 20 years since I was like 32, 33. So I've been kind of consistent in that career. Sometimes I've been coding just a bit, but I reconsider myself to start becoming like a programmer and getting into tech for real, like I mean like 10, 12 hours a day of studying in 2015. So about 10, about 10 years. So I got into tech because at some point I realized that this was a career that I wanted to pursue. I have a computer science degree, just to give a context. So I made these like studies, and I was like also studying on my own about Docker and other technologies. So I became really, really passionate about this. And I learned to code with Unity 3D, which is probably, I think, unpopular as a way. And the main reason is that when I was at the university, I did an exam, I passed the exam, but at the very end, the professor told me, like, Francesco, you will never become a programmer because your theory is good, but I see that you are not passionate about code, your coding skills are not good enough. He was right, but I still remember coming back at home and saying like when someone tells me like I can't do something, I start my brain starts to like to work like in a way that I want to prove you wrong. It's probably the best way to motivate me. So I remember me saying like, okay, now I want consciously to start coding professionally, and but I didn't want to have to be too boring. That's why I started with C Sharp Unity 3D, something which probably is the worst way to learn because it's very hard. But this is probably how I got into tech. And then I didn't I didn't work in game development because it's super hard. But yes, let's keep going. This is how I got into tech. Let's say this is the first part.
And that's very interesting. And I agree. Like game development is quite hard. Few of my friends were also learning, and that's very niche kind of technology. I mean, opportunities are also not like too much in that domain. Very few people learn, as well as the kind of openings, job openings, sort of are also limited. But that's interesting. I mean, I didn't know this story, and I think you didn't share on. I don't know. Maybe I missed that, but that's quite interesting. So, how many years it has been that you are in the tech in the IT industry? Yeah.
Yes, sure. So, again, long story short, in 2017, I did my first interview
Mhm.
and I failed it. So, I failed my first job interview because it involved like remembering some SQL commands. I'm so bad at memory and remember. I can barely remember like the or just because I have a Google Calendar. And I remember that feeling bad because I've been like already studying for like 2 years, 3 years, almost 3 years. This was probably one of the luckiest days of my career because it was a free internship position. So I think I can say that I dodged a bullet to double down on this. So first of all, I since like this was a rejection, I doubled down my efforts. So like I said, okay, I found some limitations, started learning even more, doubled down my effort. I put like all my energy on this. So I didn't give up, I would say. After some months, I did basically the university professor sent. I still remember that he sent me an email saying like, Francesco, would you like to work for the European Space Agency? I thought it was a joke. Like, okay, So because the professor was like a really funny person, so okay, so this person is laughing. So I replied like with a very let's say not serious mail, like okay, now like what would you like to say instead? Like I thought it was like just a way to send an email and just to have fun. I say no, for real, like there is this opportunity, and I say okay. So when something is so impossible for you that you say that you become relaxed. I don't know, doing like I don't know. A part as a actor for Hollywood, like you have this sort of stress, but if something is so impossible for you, you become probably relaxed because say, okay, this is impossible, so I just do this for lol, for the memes, for just to have some fun. So I remember I went to this interview, and also remember that like 3 months earlier, I got rejected for an internship position. So I said, okay, let's just do it. It will be fun. I mean, what could happen? Like probably I will just don't pass it, but I will probably make some practice in the interviews. So I had zero expectations, zero expectations. Long story short, I did the interview. They asked about Git, they asked about Docker, which I really loved, so probably I've been very passionate. They asked about JavaScript. One few days later, I was working there full time.
Nice.
So this is how I got my very first job in tech. It was a full stack engineer for the Copernicus project for the European Space Agency in 2017. So this was way before social media, way before Google. I started in 2020, but I was shocked because when you really don't expect it, like and the same day or the day after they sent me the offer. It was also a good offer, let's say, for being an entry position, and I went basically from zero to full time. So I think I saved so many years. I feel privileged because I feel that I saved a lot of time. I already made an internship some years earlier, but this is how the strange way how I've been, let's say, pushed into tech, and this is the story.
That's pretty much interesting. I mean, sometimes it happens that when we don't expect something to happen, it kind of come all of a sudden that okay, here it is for you. Here's the job
Probably,
for you.
yeah. Probably they thought that like this my attitude, it was like super confidence, but because I really had zero experience. I remember I was not stressed at all. I was like, okay, let's just give me the questions. I was just very relaxed, say, because usually sometimes I think that developers are stressed in the interviews because they need the job. They can't perform like very well, and I think it's the same like in relationships. Like when you are very super stressed, you don't express yourself at 100%. When you are more relaxed, things usually go better.
That's right. I mean, that's true for any domain, I would say. When you are not nervous, when you are very confident, that you will obviously give your 100%. Like it's like cool kind of attitude, positive attitude. And that's in you. I mean, I have been seeing you since so long, right? And your like short Twitter videos as well. When you say the good morning video, hey, I did this much run and all those things. I love that. I mean, the way you confidently put those things out there, that's amazing. So awesome, right? All right. And moving ahead, Francisco, because now I would say you're in the tech industry since long. I mean, I started my graduation in that year when you gave your first interview. So kind of you have way more experience as compared to me. So I would like to know from you that since you joined the industry, do you feel that there have been like changes, there have been evolutions? Because this AI thing is here, but I'm sure that our tech industry is ever evolving. There have been a lot many changes from the beginning, right? A lot many new trends always keep coming. Sometimes machine learning is popular, Python is popular, sometimes JavaScript is very much loved by the people. So what's your thought? I mean, have you seen some trends, some changes in our industry?
Yes, I saw many changes in the industry. I would say one of them is for sure that companies are requiring a wider set of skills. Like 20 years ago, 15 years ago, probably just knowing, some like one good framework, like it was probably even enough. Maybe I don't know, maybe a backend engineer in one single technology would be enough.
Yeah.
Now there are also like even memes about this, but sometimes as requirements for a position there are like 20 things, but like some of them are like just Kubernetes, but like that's one word, but that can mean everything or nothing. So I think that now companies are looking for more like a master of trades, jack of trades roles, which can be stressful because staying up to date with many different technologies can be really stressful. And this is I think a trend that I don't know if this will stop. So I think that I still think that probably to get your first job, you should still focus on a specific technology. But talking in a career, maybe not 20, 30 years, I don't know. Now probably to be hard, I don't know, for a front-end engineer, just don't even know what an API is. This now will be very strange. Maybe 20 years ago, it was something doable. Like I would say, yeah, just focus on doing the design and designing the website. It was fine. Now I think that there is this trend of like understanding like the front end frameworks, the Tailwind CSS, and then not one but three backend technologies, and then knowing understanding also SQL database, NoSQL database, and then Docker. Why not? I'm biased, of course. So learn how to use Docker. And now we had, a couple of years ago also some blockchain technologies, and now we are more into AI. So this is stressful. It's stressful because it requires us to focus on different things. It's like having like 5 jobs at the same time. And this was not like that many years ago. So this is, I think, that is a trend, that this is why many developers are stressed, because on one way they will be very good at what they really like. I don't know, Node.js backend development. On the other side, they know that if they do only that, they might in the future they might lack some knowledge, and we never know. We bounce between becoming masters on something and then that's not enough. And sometimes even becoming good at one framework is hard. Even if you want just to be a master of React and staying up to date with all the updates with just React, it's really stressful. because I always say this, computer science programming is not math. In math, you can learn even 1,000 theorems, but they are like that. They've been like that for thousands of years. If I code in React and then I stop coding React for 2 years, everything would be different. So I can't say, okay, now I learn React, let's focus 2 years on something else. And this is, I think, that is the big change. So it's very stressful to understand the different technologies at the same time and becoming proficient in many different technologies.
That's true, very true, Francisco. And I would quickly want to know your thought on this like new trend which is coming, and many of my students are a lot confused about this. Is software engineering like risky in 2024? Is AI going to take away all the jobs? Your thoughts on this?
Yes, so I made some also some jokes about this, but let's try to be like half serious, half laughing about this. So let's try to make like some unbiased and objective thoughts. I'm thinking out loud now. So do we need software? I think that we need software, or the trend is that we still need software. So there is not like an alternative to software. We are not like switching from, I don't know, from horses to car. We still need the software. So this is not something that will just stop existing because now we have something better or something different, a whole different thing. I would say, like say horses and cars are a clear example. By the way, the switch from horses to cars, it required like 100 years, so 200 years. So it's not a problem of a career. It's a problem of like a society. What we would like to have is to have one meaningful career, and then, I don't know, retire and probably, I don't know, travel the world just a little bit. So that will be, let's say, our goal. I hope so. So we still need the software.
Yeah.
A software engineer is changing and rapidly evolving, and this is scary on some ways. I will say that we can't ignore AI or how it's assisting us to create things. Because, for example, in some other jobs, I can say, hey, okay, they invited, this new machine for farming. I say, okay, but I will check this out, I don't know, in 2 years. Now I'm focused. In development, this might be risky. We can't ignore new stuff. And sometimes there are some hype on social media. Sometimes it's real. think like ChatGPT is not a hype. Like some days ago said like ChatGPT is just a hype. It's not hype. It's a real thing. Sometimes can be a hype. So I would say that we can't ignore this, but I will die on this hill that they are tools that we should use to improve our life, improve our career. So learn them as fast as you can, of course, accordingly to your life, your family, and your career.
Yeah.
But learn them as soon as possible, because ignoring them might be really risky. But the world still needs software. The world still needs software engineers. Our job is changing a bit too quickly, but we'll not give up. So yeah.
Yes, I completely agree to what you said, Francisco. And one more thing I quickly want to add here to like the doubts, the questions which students often ask. They are sort of confused, or maybe that because of the rumor, they're like, there are no jobs. They are feeling that because of AI that's happening or something like that. But see, like recently, that recession, a bit of like in industry, in our tech industry, way back in 2008 there was huge recession, right? So in some 10, 12 years sometime these things happen. So don't be so much stressed. And if you go ahead and check on like LinkedIn job section, or maybe on, there are so many portals like 1 hour developer is there. If you know some skill and you want to earn on hourly basis, right? So there are clients who require you to maybe fix some bug quickly in 1 hour and you get paid for that. There are so many amazing like freelancing website. There are so many opportunities out there. And like if you, let's say, follow people like Francisco, you'll get to know that there's so much like in our tech domain as well. There are so many different technologies, right? Like Francisco is very much into like Rust, Docker. He love all those stuff. So there are plenty of things, and if you're good at what you do, a lot many opportunities will be there for you. So don't feel nervous, don't feel worried, just keep learning good things, put in effort, and you will indeed get opportunities. Am I right, Francisco?
Absolutely. So I think we can find jobs in all the possible fields. I think that it's like the market will auto-regulate themselves. So we just need to stay up to date. I highly recommend to at least to have a good social media profile. I'm not telling you to become an influencer. I'm telling you that to have, a clean GitHub profile, a clean LinkedIn profile. Probably some you can share some good tips. So this is, I think, very, very important. When I was a recruiter, when I made some interviews in the previous jobs. When I get a name, the first thing that I did is like search these people on social media, and and check if they have a GitHub profile, if they have a LinkedIn profile, what's their previous job. Does this make you a better developer? No, but it can help you to get a job. It will help you to stand out. I always say that social media will amplify whatever you do. If you do zero, you still get nothing. But if you have ideas, if you participate open source, if you participate in hackathons, and you are the same person, and one of the two people, they have 1 million followers, some people will understand that they are doing that. Having followers on social media will not make you a better or worse person. You can be a bad person even with 1 follower, or a good person with 1 million. Of course, it's not a metric for life. This is a issue of the modern society. But I highly agree that having a clean profile can open to so many opportunities. This current job that I have at Daily Dev, it was probably one of the biggest reasons is what that I interviewed the CEO of Daily Dev 8 months earlier, and didn't interview him to get a job. I was still doing another job. But to say that like doing these kind of things, collaborations, being active on social media, it's like if you are a fan of RPGs or some other games, it's like rolling more dice. So if you roll more dice, you have higher chances. That's an unfair advantage that you have compared if you just code. Developers are not anymore as they were in the 60s, in the 70s, when they were like pure programmers, but they do many things like this. So, but it's something that is a part of our life now.
So I loved all the insights that you shared, Francisco. I'm sure that our audience would have also loved it. So before we end the podcast, first of all, thank you for giving your valuable time to us, for sharing your insightful thoughts, and any message for our audience who are watching the podcast.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much for inviting me here. I think that we can change our life if we really want to.
Mm,
Because sometimes we think, "Ah, I'm not cut for that. I was not born for doing that." I can assure you, like 100%, that I was not like born as a talent to do videos or doing even something like this. So sometimes we should stop overthinking and focusing more on what we really want. Do we want to have more freedom? Do you want to have a job that we really love to? And this can lead us in the right direction. So this is what helped me the most. So for example, I wanted to create more content on social media. I want to be more active there. Then probably I should not have, I don't know, a job that leads me like in the opposite direction. So this is what really helped me in the past few years. I always try to be open-minded. Oh, this always try to be kind to people. That's the number one rule. And
definitely.
then you will wait and you basically you can wait while doing things. This is my approach. Like I do things, and then maybe in the future we can make new collaborations, new ideas, new opportunities, and then and then you get lucky. But you need to really build this luck day by day by working, and this can really help you. And what really also helped me, it has been to don't focus on just one day. Usually we overestimate what we can do in one day, and we underestimate what we can do in 5 years. In 5 years we can do a lot. Like 5 years ago I was not even active on social media, for example. So and I try to think like in 5 and 10 years, and this approach helped me so much because it alleviates the stress. When I'm tired, I go to sleep early. I never like overwork because I notice that I'm not productive, for example, in the late evenings. So it doesn't make sense for me. And doing this on a daily basis, I think that helped my life. So good luck, everyone. Try to create genuine connections with people.
Yeah.
And yes, so that this is what I can say. And either if you work in tech or not, work on getting out of your comfort zone. This
Yes.
is what will probably help you the most in your life. Thank you so much for having me here. It has been really a pleasure.
Thank you so much, Francisco, and thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Bye.